Hey VC, how's it been? Also a welcome to the Disturbed Ones. It's funny how the mind works. I decided to flip on a music streaming service for a second, heard one particular song, then decided to go grab the album, listen to the full album, and then went and grabbed the video album. Concert or the same band, and then decided to take a look at my old collection video, and holy shit, that video is old and is in really bad quality. So I decided to redo it, and there's going to be some changes, of course, and the timestamps for when I'm showing all this if you don't care about the preamble for the beginning, but pretty much anything pre 2017 is open for a redo or definitive edition. However, because of the camera and the setup that I was using at the time, so I may slowly be doing some of those. I won't redo everything, but a few crucial pieces will be done again because they're in need of redoing, and this is one of those. So I figured, what the hell, let's just get to it. And because that video was not only in poor quality but incomplete, this will be a basically everything that I've got. So, having said that, now everything can officially start. So we're gonna start with CDs, and I have The Sickness, I have Believe on CD. I don't have them to show because I, at the time, so this is 2004, 2005-ish, pre-YouTube days, all I had access to, because I wasn't buying stuff off of the internet, because, I was a minor, still in high school, I basically had access for, as far as CDs, Walmart and Kmart, and those retailers being what they are, they didn't have anything with explicit lyrics, so they only had the edited versions of those albums, and I wasn't about that, and so I had to get those off of a friend, and so that's all I'm gonna. That's all. That was a bad thing. Don't do that. That's not cool. But yeah. So we're gonna start then. There's 10,000 Fists. And when we get to the vinyl, I will have close-up shots at the end of this video, specifically of those two. Again, Rectify, an error with that. There's a shot of the CD. And there's an insert. Of that, and I can remember before this came out, there was a airplane doing a flyover with the banner for this at Ozfest '05, and I remember seeing that in the sky and thinking, oh shit, new Disturbed album. And while this isn't one of my favorites, it's definitely a kick-ass album nonetheless. Here's Disturbed, Indestructible. And this actually is, at the time it was released and still to this day, my favorite Disturbed record. Criminal and Divide would be my two favorites. This is Indestructible in Germany from 2008, Rock am Ring. This has Perfect Insanity, Liberate, Stupefy, 10,000 Fists, The Game, and Down with the Sickness. Just watched this again, and this is awesome. Some of the video quality, since this is DVD and this is from 2008, isn't really the best, but it does get better. Later on in the video, I would imagine by now this is on YouTube somewhere, and it's probably in better quality. Okay, this is Asylum, and the disc isn't in the case. It's probably in a player somewhere. Remember also when this album came out, and Another Way to Die was everywhere. It's an okay song, but in my opinion, there's a lot better tracks on this album. But yeah. Anyway, good stuff right here. Mortalized. And this is an album that I played a whole hell of a lot, multiple times a day for months on end, and I've only done that with a few records, mostly Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer and Christ Illusion by Slayer. This was another one that fit that, where I just played it, and played it and played it and played it, and still like it a lot, but what's funny is that as we've gotten further and further away the year that this came out, I like the bonus tracks best of all. It's kind of interesting, but another great album. Here is Live at Red Rocks. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible, and should be heard. If you like live albums, if you like Disturbed in general, this is just amazing. And it's funny to think, you got The Game, Voices, Down with the Sickness, and Stupefy in the set list on the Immortalized tour cycle and you've still got 4 songs from the first album in the set list. That's pretty amazing, if you ask me. But of course, none of you did. Evolution, I don't have, because it's not an album I'm particularly fond of from them. I heard it, didn't like it, and really didn't want to do much with it after hearing it. And there's a few albums like that. As some of you know, I'm a big fan of Ozzy Osbourne. Ordinary Man, I just could not get into. I heard it, and it didn't stick with me. And I'm one that will be an apologist for a lot of his stuff, to a certain degree, of albums like Osmosis and Down to Earth, and even to a smaller extent, Black Rain. But that's about where my limits for bad Ozzy go. I don't particularly care for Scream and anything else really after that. But sorry for that. This is supposed to be about Disturbed, but it's the same kind of general feeling with that group of albums from Ozzy and that particular release from Disturbed. It didn't grab me, and I guess such is life. I also don't have The Lost Children, which would be one that I would track down. I don't really know if you'd call me a completionist with this particular band, but that would be one that I would go after. Enough of that. We're going to get into the vinyl now. And it's like you're seeing it for the first time, because this was one that I'd shown in that original video, and yeah, it was bad. But now you can actually see it, and you can read the hype sticker. And now you can finally fully understand the joke that I made in the previous video about the 298. And this has, well, as you can see, it's Inside the Fire and Perfect Insanity on the B-side. And those songs were ever, there were video games, commercials, movies. I mean, it's kind of yeah. And here we go again. Indestructible, Inside the Fire. And this is also from 2008. I don't know where the live version is from, but there's the flame colored yeah. So that's that. And like it says, limited to 1,000 UK import, and yeah, neat little collectible. And it's kind of funny with this one. It's another one that I picked up on the cheap, and I don't know, I guess it just slipped through, which is, you know, it's kind of funny. I'll take it. Alright, here is Believe on picture disc. This is from 2019. I'm just noticing this. This is kind of funny. It's mixed by Andy Wallace, who also did a lot of Slayer albums way back when. Now, these aren't in any particular order. I just grabbed off of the shelf, and these were in two different spots in the collection, which I'm going to rectify when I put everything back. But like I said, on the ones that require special attention, I will have close-ups at the end. So if you want to see something in greater detail, you know, gatefolds or what have you, that'll be at the end. Okay, this is Disturbed Divisive. This was shown in a recent collection update video. I realized that, but here it is again as part of the collection. And there's the Walmart gold variant. And I'm just showing the stuff again just for continuity purposes and for you know, authenticity as definitive. Okay, here is Asylum on a clear and black. And this is from probably around the album was released, but I'm not sure if they did multiple pressings or anything. I have no information on that, and I haven't checked Discogs, but there it is. And once again, you can actually see it this time. Here is the clear vinyl version of Divisive. There's 2000 in that variant, and that one is remaining sealed. Oops. Okay, here's Immortalized on double, and this includes my pit pass and the ticket from when I went and saw them. And this was one of two concerts I attended at the Outdoor Pavilion sponsored by the Indian Casino in Phoenix. I swore that I would never go back for another concert after this concert. But when Slayer played through there in 2018, I believe it was, I broke that rule, and broke that rule only for them. Megadeth's gone through there a couple times. Ozzy went through there, but then canceled because that was the No More Tours 2 thing that he was doing, and you know, for health reasons and all that stuff. But swore I never was going to go back to that venue because that venue is disgusting. You know, I was in the pit, on the rail, and the maintenance in that place was absolutely disgusting. It's a huge crack. And in the area between the stage and the barricade that everybody was stepping over and tripping, it was a joke. And the barricades were so flimsy that the crowd was moving. They were going like this. In my section, the security couldn't keep up with it. I was physically moving and setting it back myself while I'm listening to music, while I'm having all that stuff. I'm doing their job for them. And they even, it was funny, they even recognized that. You know, that place, it was bad. But that's not the worst of it. The crack in the concrete is probably the most dangerous. But another big issue that venue has is the fact that the pit area is right up against the first row of seating. There's no barricade in between. So you've got people sitting down, and then you've got people standing. They can fall right on top of each other. There's no barricade at that place, at least as of, you know, 5 years ago, the last I was there. Of course, I was in a seat that time, and not in the pit, but I doubt that's changed, and that's just, yeah, that's bad. So that's why, yeah, no going back to that venue for me, even though I had already broken that rule. But I broke it for one reason. And I'm sorry, this has gone awry several times, so please forgive me. And there, of course, there'll be timestamps for just the record, so you can ignore all the other stuff. Okay, as we continue on, this is Indestructible. And this has an etching. The paper sleeve in there is for the CD that the guy included that I bought this from. And this one will get close-ups because it of etchings and gatefold and all that. Okay, we are coming to the end of this section. This is the 10th anniversary edition of this album. This is the Coke bottle color, red and blue, and yeah. and pretty much purchased as a collectible because of having other ways to play this album. And nothing rare about it, but just interesting. And again, this was at the time when, you know, not a lot of their albums had been put on vinyl. They, you know, because they're, you know, 2000s band. You know, well, when they started releasing albums, but you know, they were formed in '96. But a lot of their stuff was CD only when it was originally out. So that's the reason I decided to grab that, apart from being a fan of the band. Now, we're going to finish up with the 2012 box set. And it's interesting, the 10th anniversary includes God of Mine and A Welcome Burden on the track list. As I will show you now, the version of The Sickness in this collection omits those two songs, which is kind of funny for me because the version I got from my friend always had those two songs, and so I always thought that they were included with the regular album. And of course, you know, this is in an era that I really wasn't checking on the internet for this kind of stuff, and there was really not a lot of you know that kind of information, you know, publicly. So you kind of just went without knowing that kind of thing. There you go. That's everything as far as that goes. And what's interesting here is the only double album in this set is 10,000 Fists. So the Indestructible that I showed, which was a 2 LP set in this collection, is a single. So that would suggest, at least to me, and of course you can chime in if you want to in the comments, that they compressed and altered the sound. So, you know, again, sound off in the comments if you want, but this being a Record Store Day release, you know, they just want to sell stuff. Alright, for that section we have completed, and so I will now switch to the overhead view and get close-ups on a few of the pieces. So, jump cut. Okay, so here we go with close-up on the first 7-inch. Sorry, it's hard for me to do that with one hand, especially for me. Here's just close up on the immortalized. And here is the earlier version. As you can see, CD is the same as the standard. I don't know when this was pressed. I'd probably have to look up Discogs, but since this is a 2008 release of the album, and since that was in the earlier resurgence of vinyl, it may be from the era. Okay, that's shot of the gatefold. And I'm not sure. It'll at least be better than it was originally, but that's the etching of the guy on side 4. So there's that. These are polyline white sleeves with this addition. And to wrap this up, thank you for hanging with me on this one. This was a lot longer than I intended it to be. And of course, there's a couple, rants and ramblings and all that, but here is that collection, and specifically that edition of this album in a more proper showcase. And great album cover as well. So thank you, and see you next time.